Hello and welcome back to another video. Earlier this month I put a poll out on my channel. I posted a poll and I was like, what video would you guys like to see this month? And the top one was the video that just came out before this one, which was reading read books. Only reading read books. Not for a week, just only reading read books in general. And then the next highest one was a series challenge part 3. So that is what we are filming now. Now, if you haven't seen a series challenge video before, I have 2 other videos. Obviously, I said part 3. They are in a playlist on my channel, or you could just scroll and you'll find it. Basically, I've kind of shifted the rules a little bit because I realized some logistics wouldn't have made sense. So basically, I have 3 wheels. I have 3 wheels. This one's my physical, this is my digital, this is the series wheel. So this is this wheel we will be focusing on when it spins. I am not allowed to respin. I don't know if I was allowed to in the previous videos, but I've changed that to I'm not allowed to respin. And also all the series on this wheel I have not read any books from. So originally it was series I had already started and I was in the middle of, which I realized that for a series challenge, that would mean if, let's say, I was 2 books into it already and there was only like 3 books left, well, you would have to go back. Not that I wouldn't want you to go back and watch the first 2 videos that I read the first 2 books in, just to get an understanding of where we're at in the story. Because I've noticed that when I'm reviewing books on this channel where it's like the 3rd or 4th book in the series and I'm like, well, don't want to spoil anything, it's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling the previous books. So I decided to only put the series on here that I have not read yet, which actually is probably better. Or like they're rereads that I want to reread the whole series. Some of them are rereads. Basically, yeah, I spin and I read the whole series back to back. I allow myself one gap, like one break, where I can pick up a different book and, you know, kind of have a little bit of a refresh moment, and then I can dive back into it. So here are the series we have. We have Melderblood, which is 4 books. We have Wings of Betrayal, which is 6 novellas. Like, not 6, like, books. They're like novellas that are all put together in, like, one big book. We have The Prince Warriors. This would be a reread. My dad read this aloud to me as a kid. That's 4 books. In The Wake of the Wicked, that's 2, which actually I think it is supposed to be 3. I think I have to take that off because that's not even a finished series yet. Like, I'm not capable of reading the whole series. We have The Huntress, which is 5 books. We have Cities of Smoke and Starlight, that's 3. We have Sweet Heartbreak, that's also 3. We have Scarlet Princess, that's 4. The Heiress of Winterwood, that's 3. Okay, and here's another thing. So The Shadow of the Gods is 3 books. If you could clearly tell, I only have the first one physically, but the other 2 in the series are on Kindle Unlimited. So I am capable of continuing and finishing the series, even though I don't have all 3 of them physically. I just have the first one. So that's how it is for a few of these series. I have the first one physically and I haven't read it yet. And then I will be able to read the next ones on Kindle Unlimited. I have Dragon's Kiss, which is 4 books. The Wrong Bachelor, which is 3. The False Prince, which I do own physically over here, that's 5. Six of Crows is on here, but since I haven't finished Shadow and Bone yet, Six of Crows will be a respin if I get it, because, again, don't want any spoilers. A Soul as Cold as Frost is 4. After a Fashion is 3. The Lord of the Rings is 3. The Lord of the Rings is on Kindle Unlimited, so exciting. The O'Malley Chronicles is 3. It's like I have a giant thick book of them combined together. The Last Cavalries is also 3. Same thing, big book. And The Stolen Heir is 2. So The Stolen Heir duology, I own another one where I own the first one physically and the second one's on Kindle Unlimited. So we have options. Like, we got anything from 2 book series to 6 book series. That's, again, 6 novellas, which a lot of these are ebooks. A lot of them are ebooks because out of sight, out of mind type thing, where if I don't see it, I don't think about it. And I'm like, oh, right, I have this book that I've had on my TBR. And I am allowed to DNF the series. This is established in my part 2 where I DNF'd the Vow of Thieves. I may or may not come back to it at some point in the future. I don't know, but as of right now, it's been DNF'd. And that was then, it was a duology, so that was the end of the series. I am allowed to DNF the series if I'm just not feeling it. This is just to try and help me get through a lot of these series, not backlogs, but series that have just been sitting on my TBR for a really long time. So, done with all the talking, let us spin. And again, if we get Six of Crows, that will be a respin because I haven't finished the series that comes first. Also, Percy Jackson was on here, but since I haven't finished Harry Potter yet, and Percy Jackson is my next talk series, I will be putting that one off until I finish Harry Potter, if that makes sense. All right. Again, this is the wheel we are focusing on. I'm nervous because I don't know what I'm going to get. If I get Lord of the Rings, this video is going to take me into, like, the next month. Because Lord of the Rings, it takes a minute. Oh, The Heiress of Winterwood. That's a book series I got physically. Let me grab them. So it's these 3 books. Like I said, they're 3 historical romances. They are with Christian themes. The first one is The Heiress of Winterwood, obviously. The second one is The Mistress of Rosemere. And the third and final one is A Lady at Willow Grove Hall. So I bought all of these used. So like this was like 2 of these were from like a library, if you couldn't tell by like the code on the side of it. And then this one was from a different used bookstore. So cool. Okay. I'm all right with that. I'm all right starting off a little bit on the easier side with you know, romance books. Okay. All right. Awesome. Cool. The Heiress of Winterwood follows Amelia and Graham as they are put into a marriage of convenience because Amelia wants to raise her dead friend's child, who is Graham's biological daughter. Now, travesty takes a turn when this child vanishes with little more than a ransom note hinting at her whereabouts, and both Amelia and Graham must put aside their differences and their pride to find their little girl. So, I changed my shirt because I spilled on the other one. So this is still the same day. I'm on page 159. I did start this book already 48 pages in. So I'm like about halfway done already. Yeah, I started this book because I bought this from where I used to work. It was like a bookstore. And I read it when I had some downtime. I was like, oh, I'll just pick a book off the shelf that looks interesting. And I got to like 48 pages in. I was like, oh, it was pretty good. Maybe I should buy it. And then like I debated it for like 2 weeks. And then finally caved in and bought the first and third one because that's all they had. And then bought the second one at a different bookstore. So I kind of already started this, I guess, technically. But I didn't really remember. But I was like, I remember where I was at. And it's been probably like 4 or 5 months since I first picked this up. Maybe even longer. Actually, now that I think about it, but it's good. I also realized, I think this is the first ever marriage of convenience that I've ever read. So it's an interesting trope that I've never read. So that's pretty good. And I hate her former betrothed. Hate's a strong word. I strongly disliked. So Amelia was originally betrothed to this dude named Edward. Horrible human being, by the way. Only wanted to marry her for her money, but made it out like he wanted to marry her because he loved her. She tells him, by the way, not happening. I'm marrying the father of the child that I love very dearly and promised her dying mother that I take care of. Marriage of convenience, for both of them. And Edward is ticked. He's so mad. And I'm like, man, dude, you really are showing your true colors. So yeah, about halfway through, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm liking it. But yeah, I'll probably talk to you guys again when I finished and move on to the next book. So, see you guys in a bit. Dude, I I hate how loud this chair is. Okay, finished The Heiress of Winterwood, and I gave it 3 stars. It was good. It wasn't like the most mind-blowing thing I've ever read. I kind of like called who kidnapped the child, like, from the get-go. It's like, I know exactly who's gonna be responsible for this. I know exactly who it is. And you know how I said earlier that this is like a marriage of convenience trope? More so a betrothal of convenience, because they, spoiler alert, I guess, I don't know, they're just betrothed for like the whole book. They don't exactly get married at all. I'm assuming yeah, they're just betrothed of convenience is more like it. I did enjoy it. I did like the main 2 characters. It was good. It was short. It was nice and sweet. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about that. So, pretty good book. Now we are moving on to the second book in the series, The Headmistress of Rosmere, I think it's them. And this, by the way, I read the back of it as I was like over halfway done with this one because I wanted to know who this follows. So in this, the male love interest, Graham, has a older brother whose name is William. Yeah, this book follows William's romance. And I'm so glad I didn't film it when I read it the first time because I was quite literally jumping up and down and giggling and like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. Because William is a very interesting character in this book, so I'm excited to see that if he grows and develops and becomes a better character in this one. So very excited. This book follows Patience Creighton. She's apparently already a spinster at 25. And she is the headmistress of a school for young ladies, the Rosmere School for Young Ladies. And she, you know, was waiting for like the perfect man to come sweep her off her feet. Never happened. And William Sterling, aka Graham's older brother, is in like some serious financial trouble. You find that out in the first book. And he ends up finding himself at the doorstep of the Rosmere School for Young Ladies, which apparently he is a tenant of his, which basically I think it means he owns the property and like not rents it out to them or something along those lines. And he meets Patience, and yeah, you know, and whatever else ensues. This book I think it's shorter than the other one. It's 307 pages. This one was 310. And then the third one is, 340. I don't know why this one, for some reason, is so much longer. But, yeah, so let's get into The Headmistress of Rosmere. Alright, finished The Headmistress of Rosmere. I gave this 3.5 stars. I liked this one more than I liked the first one. I liked the couple more. I liked the storyline more. Something that I have noticed reading these books back to back is that the families of the female main characters stink. Like, not as like they're written badly, they're just horrible. Not horrible people, but it feels like they're horrible people. Especially in the first one, but this one too. I'm like, I get that she's a woman and this is in the Regency era and she's like a spinster. I get that. But there's like the whole thing of her brother, and I was wanting to toss this book across the room. Okay, but I loved the couple in this one. This is probably going to be my favorite one out of all 3 of them. So, this was so good. I loved how sweet it was, and the plot twists, and perfect. This one was great. Again, I wouldn't say it's definitely wasn't a 5-star read for me. Obviously, like, similar to the first one, I liked it more, but it still is like, it's a good Regency romance, historical romance. Now we are on to the final book, book 3, which is the longest one at 340 pages. Why this one's so much longer, I do not know. This is A Lady at Willowgrove Hall. This one doesn't follow any characters that I've met, like, at all. So it's about a girl named Cecilia, not Cecilia, Cecile, I'm going to say Cecile. She carries a lot of shame of her past, and she becomes a lady's companion at Willowgrove Hall. And she finds herself face to face with a man well acquainted with the past she desperately hidden for years. The man being Nathaniel Stanton. I feel like I recognize that name, but I actually don't remember. He has a secret of his own, one that's haunted him and tied him to his father's possession as steward of Willowgrove Hall. To protect his family, Nathan dares not breathe a word of the truth, but as long as the shadow looms over him, he'll never be free to find his own way in the world. He'll never be free to fall in love. With secrets swirling within Willowgrove Hall come to light, Cecile and Nathan must confront a painful choice. Will they continue running from the past, or will they stand together and fight for a future without the suffocating weight of secrets long kept? So that's what this is about. Yeah, I feel like I haven't met these characters yet. So, yeah, let's get into A Lady of Willowgrove, at Willowgrove Hall. It should be read with a British accent. That's kind of how I am reading this, even though they are British. Yes, I have been reading this with the British accent in my head, but I'm excited. And then after this, I'm actually completing a full-on series, as long as I don't DNF this, which I don't think I will. But that will be the first in the series challenge. If you've seen the previous two, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, after this one, go watch those two. I'm sure they are very entertaining for some people. But yeah, let's get back into the world of Whispers on the Moor. That's the series name. Yeah. Peace. Alright. Finished A Lady at Willowgrove Hall. I literally just finished it, gave it 3 stars. Same rating as the first book. Enjoyed it. This one was, a little bit longer, but it was so sweet. By the way, there is a connection to the female main character to the second book. Is this female main character went to the school that Patience is the headmistress of. And then she became a teacher. So she was a teacher in this book. I just didn't recall her name because it's not talked about very often. I will say, this is my rating for them from favorite to least favorite in this trilogy. My favorite is definitely the headmistress of Rosmere. I don't know why, but I really did enjoy this one a lot. I loved the couple. I love Patience and William. I think William's character arc and his redemption was great. Kind of, honestly, I feel like he's the only one who really had an arc because you get to see how he is in the first book to the end of the second book. And then my second favorite is definitely this one. I really loved the couples in this first two. So yeah, favorite, second favorite. I hate saying this least favorite, but it being the first one, it was still good. I think if we're talking specifically, I will talk about this, specifically for the female main characters. It is a dual POV series. I don't know if I even mentioned that. You get both the male and female perspectives throughout the whole book. But for the female main characters, I found her to be the most innocent and immature because she is the youngest out of all 3 of our main female main characters. She's about 16, 17 years old in hers, while our Patience is 25, and I think it's Cecilia, not Cecilia, Cecile, I think, but I call her Cece because it's just easier for me to pronounce while I'm reading. She was 21. So for the maturity levels of these 2 characters, they were a lot less they didn't make dumb decisions or rash decisions. I should say, not dumb decisions. I feel like Amelia, who's our female main character in this, made a bit more rash of decisions in this book. and didn't fully think through quite a bit of our actions comparatively to how more mature and wiser these girls were. So that's kind of why I think I prefer these two, is just the female main characters were more on the erring on the mature side, which is understandable. They've lived longer than she has. The male main characters in all, hold up, let me hold these in order. The male main characters in all three of these were pretty good. I think the reason why I like William the best out of the male main characters is because you get to see his character growth from when you meet him at not the beginning, in the first book, to where he lands at the end of this one. There is character growth. I'm not saying there isn't character growth for either of these guys. I think the next one who has the most amount of character growth is Nathaniel. No offense to Graham, but I feel like Graham didn't have as much character growth as I would have liked. I think this is it's a still good book. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. It's still a good book, but I feel like comparatively to characters, which is what I care for, probably the plot of this one was more interesting. The character aspect of these ones were more interesting. The plot of this had like a kidnapping that's on the back of the book, and a whole lot of other stuff that made this one a lot more plot-wise, this was a lot more interesting, while these feel more character-driven stories, which tends to be my cup of tea, more so than plot-driven. So, yeah. Overall, I give this series a 3-star rating. It's a good series. Nice, short little books. The longest is 340. The shortest is 308. With pages. I don't really know how much this would be on audio. I didn't listen to any of the audiobooks. I know that there's an audiobook for at least the second one. But yeah, this is the first series challenge. I guess I technically have finished a full series in. But yeah, overall, great series, great experience, and I would recommend these. These are very sweet little romances. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!